Okay. Here is Don Lemon. All right, let's take a listen.
You recently called content moderation, though, a digital chastity belt. Do you think that you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform?
I think we have a responsibility to adhere to the law, and we have a responsibility to be transparent about when things are shown, why they're shown. That's why we open source our algorithm. Um, I think once you start going beyond the law, now you're putting your thumb on the scale, and we don't want to put our thumb on the scale.
It doesn't concern you that hate speech has gone. Research shows that it's gone up on the platform since you took over. That's not concerning to you?
I believe that is false. In fact, the research that I've seen says it went down.
Okay, hold on. I just want to clarify one thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Tom McDonald says, there's a difference between hate speech and hate speech that you hate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Just because you don't like something that's being said doesn't necessarily classify it as hate speech.
Exactly.
And there is the First Amendment in this country that you can say whatever you want, no matter how offensive it is, regardless of other people's feelings. And you know what? Just because somebody chooses to get butthurt over it, sucks for them.
Yep.
Get over it, Buttercup, because that's the country we live in.
Well, you can choose not to engage with the discussion. You don't have to read what somebody has to say. Like the media, I look at it from this perspective. You can go to the store and buy. I can go to Walmart and shop, but right at Walmart, there's like, I don't celebrate Halloween, right? But there's Halloween stuff there. There are things there that I don't like, I don't agree with. I might have to walk past them. Because it's at the store, doesn't necessarily mean the store owner is evil. Is giving option to everyone, good and evil, are welcome in that atmosphere. For me, it's like if you're going online, you shopping intellectually. You shopping intellectually. You don't have to shop and read words from people that you don't agree with. You can just scroll past them. You can click and say, I don't want to see another content from that individual. You can report or flag the individual. You do have power over what you choose to listen to. And again, Elon Musk is going to hit him in the head here because he's going to tell him content moderation is just a buzzword. It's a code word for censorship. That's all it is.
It really is. And then, I've said it before and I'll say it again, this goes all the way back to the 80s when the lead singer of Twisted Sister went in front of Congress and said, you're going down a slippery slope and it's not going to end here with just music.
Yeah. And it started supposedly on a positive note, but oftentimes, just like we were talking earlier, you go after Donald Trump, eventually you go after the big guy. But again, the tyrant is never satisfied. He's eventually going to go after the little guys. And that's just the way it was. Even when they were pushing against hip hop back then, which I did understand, rap music was pushing a lot of violent things, but
they weren't even going after rap and hip hop. They were going after rock and roll and heavy metal.
That's way before they went after hip hop. Yeah. But even then, it's kind of like, so eventually he's going to go after the little guys. Now you are trying to police the thoughts of people online about what could be said. Well,
and that's just it. They've always been trying to do that.
This is crazy. And the fact this guy is having his first interview talking about this, it goes to show that Don Lemon, even though he's been fired from CNN, his career is blown, he's now having an opportunity and he gets to interview his boss. You having this discussion, it shows me you are completely deaf-toned to reality. You are disconnected. You are still a cheerleader of the Democratic Party. You have not overcome the same conception they placed in your mind this whole time. I thought to myself, if he's gone from the mainstream media, he probably has a new way of thinking about things now. Nope.
No. He's a shill through and through.
Shameful.
It's false. In fact, the research that I've seen says it went down.
The study from the Institute of Strategic Dialogue found that anti-Semitic tweets doubled from June 22 to February 2023. One study reported that as many as 86% of the posts reported for hateful content remained up after being reported. Hate speech on the platform is up.
So what they will typically do is they will count the number of posts, but not count the number of views. So what matters is, was that post given high visibility, or what did like one person see it? And if you look at the number of views of how many times was hate content viewed on our platform, it is down substantially.
Yeah. Well, that's not was what the study shows. And you said you like transparency. I'm going to show you this, and
Don, you can get a study that will tell you whatever you want.
These are.
That's not what the study shows. Well, of course, that's not what the study shows. He just told you that, you dingus. It's like, what are you not understanding about the words coming out of my mouth? I just told you that that's not what the study shows, and you're completely disregarding my point.
But a lot of these studies are biased themselves.
And even so, he turned around and said you can get a study to show you whatever you want. They skew numbers all the time.
Of course.
To push their narrative and agenda.
Absolutely.
Like, for example, on pew pew control.
Yeah.
Look at how far the numbers are skewed for that.
Mm-hmm.
You take out self-deletions, you take out gang violence.
Mm-hmm. It's a different story.
Okay. They say there's 30,000 events a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Out of those 30,000, you take out self-deletion, you take out gang violence. Guess how many you're left with? About 600 to 700 a year.
You got to be kidding. And we're not even talking about, and I know this is the other side of the issue, how many lives were saved by the use of a pew-pew.
Now, how many do you think were saved with the defensive use of a pew-pew?
Yeah. You can't
take a wild guess. Just randomly. Anybody in the chat. This is for chat too. Take a wild guess. How many do you think were saved by the defensive use of a pew-pew?
Easily 5,000 from my perspective.
Okay. We got Pastor. Anybody in chat want to take a wild guess?
I say 5,000. Let me put my number in. 5,000. Yeah. Wild guess. How many lives are saved yearly?
How many lives do you think are saved on a yearly basis with the defensive use of a pew-pew?
4,000.
Whether it was used or not.
Yeah. 4,000. Would you include cops in this, or just
period across the board?
Across the board. Okay, so I'll say 10,000.
Okay.
So I'll pick my number. Okay. 10,000. Good question.
Okay.
Somebody said 1,000. Okay. Not sure.
Okay. The answer, over 3 million.
Get out of here. Yearly?
Yearly.
Is that around the world?
No, just here in America.
You gotta be kidding me.
No lie.
That's fake news, bro. That's fake news. Where'd you get this? Are you serious?
I am dead serious. and over half of them, it's not even fired. It's just brandishing it that causes the incident to go away.
Exactly. Wow.
So you tell me how those two statistics are so far apart, yet they want to turn around and take away our right to own.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Good point. And I think the same thing is being done with hate speech, supposed hate speech. It's like, how many people's lives have been impacted in a negative light because of a tweet that's found online?
And not just a tweet, but a tweet like 10 to 20 years ago.
Yeah. How many?
You know, when we're judging things from the past when times were different with today's standards.
Mercy. Thank you for that. That is a shocking revelation.
And actually, American Renaissance lady, that is actually part of Agenda 47 that Trump wants to institute is national constitutional carry if he gets elected. Which is this.
Highly deputed. Yeah, there's a lot of fighting about that one. Yeah. All right. Well, let's continue.
Just a handful of extremely, you look at those anti-Semitic and racist tropes and tweets, and as of this morning, they're still on X. And from your own content policy, these posts should have been deleted. So why haven't they been deleted? Why are they still there? Did you?
We delete things if they are illegal.
But these have been up there for a while.
Are they illegal?
They're not illegal, but they're hateful, and they can lead to violence.
Right. It's one thing for you to say they're hateful. It's another thing for you to say it's going to lead to violence. It's connecting to different things here. Everything that is hateful leads to violence.
This is the logical fallacy circle.
Yeah. It's also another secular reasoning too. The thing is, you can say something truthful that leads to violence, right? You can say something hateful that leads to violence. It has a lot more to do with the person who is responding to the message than the message in itself. This is not to say I'm okay with bad messages online. I'm not okay with it. But it really is a reflection of the person's character, not so much the words that is being said. But for you to say that Elon Musk has to be going out there looking for tweets to delete consistently in order for him to supposedly content moderating people's words, Elon Musk is arguing the law has already said people have the right to speak and say what they need to say. Elon Musk has to violate the law of the land, which is free speech. He has to violate that in order for him to do that. That's what the Twitter owner before was doing. That's why it came back and become a major thing.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is not for that. And I don't think this man here seems to have a difficult time understanding simple English. It is not that difficult to understand. It's
and I think that's why Elon Musk is trying to get him to understand that he is operating under Section 230. He's not editing people's tweets. He's just letting them put out there what he wants to put out there so that the whole world can see the type of person you are, and whether or not they want to follow you is up to them. Whether or not they want to listen to your rhetoric is up to them.
Yeah.
If they feel your content is worth listening to, that's up to them. You're being a butthead and trying to twist it into something it isn't.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy, but you're not doing a very good job making your point.
Nope. No wonder why your boss fired you on the first day on the job.
As I just read to you, the shooters, in all of these mass shootings, attributed social media to radicalizing.
So Don, you love censorship, is what you're saying?
No, I don't love censorship.
Then why are you asking?
I believe in moderation, but I don't believe in
censorship. Moderation is a propaganda word for censorship.
But don't you think free speech is one thing, right? Or not,
Look, if something's illegal, we're going to take it down. If it's not illegal, then we're putting our thumb on the scale and we're being censors.
Precisely.
Putting your thumb on the scale for moderating hate speech. I mean, you don't put out child pornography. It's illegal. Some people would say that's considered censorship. I'm just saying
No, that's not. Oh,
he is so dishonest. Or is this? I don't know. Is that a Christian word? Is it?
Yes.
Is it stupid or what?
He is. He's so thick. Like, I'm just like losing brain cells over here listening to him. It reminds me of that little Nicky clip. Nothing in your entire rambling was coherent or legible, and we're all now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Like,
that was epic. That was epic.
This dude, I'm sorry, Don Lemon has got to be the most disingenuous person in the world.
Yeah,
trying to compare hate. Sorry,
he said he's for free speech, but he is pushing censorship.
Yeah. And then comparing that to child pornography.
It's stupid. Not the same thing at all. My lord.
It is not even close.
It's illegal, he said. It's not the same thing.
I was like, well, yeah, that's illegal. We're not going to allow that. and if we start trying to regulate it, it's going to tip the scales.
Yeah.
And we're not here to do that. We're not here to regulate people's speech. We're not here to tell people what to do and what not to do.
Yeah. What was it Dale Carnegie who said it this way, right? A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're listening to, because he's been convinced that the idea of hate speech is really a thing. He's been convinced content moderation is the solution to the problem of our society. I'll tell you what the solution is: faith in Christ, a change of heart. And secondly, you want to talk about solution? The media, the mainstream media has been the #1 propaganda radicalizing people on the face of the earth. Not even independent media. I'm not saying they don't exist in independent media, but the mainstream media has been the #1 reason why people have become radicals today. Not because of a tweet. I'm just being honest with you. That's not where it starts.
And he talks about these people who did these bad things with blaming social media for radicalizing them.
So you believe these people? Why come you don't believe them when they say the devil made me do it?
Or, that they're mentally ill, or people call certain numbers of certain 3-letter agencies saying, look, I think my son or my daughter is about to do something terrible and they need to be looked into.
And they're neglected.
And they're completely ignored. Like, all their pew-pews are bought legally. But yet they ignore that part. They completely ignore that part.
Yeah. It's dishonest. Anyway,
I literally said, if something is legal, okay, we will obviously remove it.
Okay.
But if it is not legal, the laws in this country are put forward by the citizens. We're a democracy. If those laws put in place by the people, we adhere to those laws.
Okay, I agree.
To the laws of others. If you go beyond the law, you're actually going beyond the will of the people.
Okay, agreed with the law. But if you are doing something that promotes hate and violence and ultimately leads to killing, you don't feel you have any responsibility not to do that?
Pause.
When
you just contradicted yourself.
You
agree with the law, and then you turn around and then immediately in the same breath said, well, if you don't moderate this stuff, don't you feel blah, 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 whatever.
He's calling for responsibility, he says.
It's like, well, no, then I'm not following the law.
Yeah. These are the reasons why
you can't do one and not have the other.
Absolutely. These are the reason why you're getting strikes on your channel. This is the thought behind that. The thing is, the mainstream media gets away with it. The people who suffers are the little guys like us. We the one who suffer. We the one whose speech is controlled. We the one who are told if you say anything is bigotry, is hateful, you can say it. Even if you read the Bible, they will use Bible and say, by this Bible verse is hateful, we don't like it. This is how far this stuff goes. So in the name of hate speech, trying to supposedly make people feel good about themselves, I don't want to hurt feelings. In the name of trying to do that, we ended up taking away people's rights to speak. Truth is now being sugar-coated and covered up.
In favor of feelings.
Yeah, you're being oppressed. You can have a thought that disagrees with the mainstream narrative. That's the goal. That's the devil's way of doing things.
When the people who are doing it admittedly are saying
there's articles all the time that lead to violence and killing. Don't they? Shouldn't they? Like, you're applying a differential standard to.
But that would never be in mainstream media. These types of images, that type of language, those things would never be. We'd never, when I was in mainstream media, we'd never promote things that would be anti-Semitic. We would never promote things that would
either.
What?
Did you?
What?
Did you not see those?
Hold on.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Can we get a fact checker in here? You're constantly calling Trump Hitler.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, do you not think that's anti-Semitic?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what are you talking about?
Yeah. It is anti-Semitic because Trump is nothing like Hitler. And to use Hitler against Trump goes to show that you devalue what had happened to the Jews.
Exactly.
Hitler. So you are minimizing the nature of the trauma. And that is anti-Semitic. I'll tell you what is also racist coming from the media, because they also want to moderate speech because of racism. Okay, I'll show you the media's racism. When Black people kill themselves or kill each other, they don't talk about it. You say, isn't that racist? Yes, it is. Because it doesn't address the issue in the Black community. It doesn't hold Black people, Black men accountable. So if a white man does the killing, God forbid he's a policeman, oh Lord have mercy, oh, knees on the neck, there's a big discussion about that. But when the Black man is pulling the trigger on his own people, the media ignores that. What?
Complete silence, crickets.
Well, the silence is it creates a system where this continues. It doesn't address the problem. So in essence, the media is also racist, showing that they don't care about Black lives either. Even though Black lives matter, diversity, equity, and inclusion. But that's not really true, because the real issues that needs to be addressed in Black communities, they don't care about. They don't care about the fatherlessness. They don't care about the drugs. They don't care about the gang-related violence. And they don't care about even the innocent lives that are being taken by the hands of criminals in Black communities. And they promoted, defunded the police while this is happening. So guess what they really are? They are the racists. So the only thing is they took a different mental. They just took a different position and posture and language. But in nature, by the way they behave, they're still pushing racism.
A mostly peaceful protest going on behind me.
Yeah.
As the building's burning.
Yeah.
In the background.
That's one side of the issue. There's also another truth as well. When violence is perpetrated toward whites by Black people, media ignores it. They don't talk about that. No. They do not address it. And that's also another problem, because if you go on Twitter, there's a lady on Twitter, all she does is posting violence being perpetrated toward white people. And it's pathetic. It's horrible. The thing is, you don't see it in the news, though. It's not talked about. We're talking about a bunch of Black kids beating a white girl for no reasons whatsoever, just because she's white. If this was done to a Black person, don't you know you will hear about it? Why? Because the media is perpetuating the same racism. They're perpetuating the lies. They're not helping anything. It's a lies and a deception. So when you come in out here talking about anti-Semitic, we're trying to protect the feelings of these people. Please give me a break. You don't care. If you wanted to do this thing fairly, you will address every evil that's in the society. But that's not what you do. You only address the evil that falls in line with your narrative so that you can remain in power.
And not just address it equally across the board.
Yes, exactly. That's what I would hope. But that's not what's happening.
No.
Promote. If content is on the platform, that doesn't mean we promote it.
But that wouldn't be on a platform for mainstream media at all.
No, but you can think of that. That's because the mainstream media has like, whatever, 20 articles a day. We have 500 million posts today.
Okay, understood.
Million.
Does it bother you? How do you feel about that when you see it?
I obviously disagree with that. I think it's not good at all. It's terrible.
But you don't want to get rid of it on the platform, or at least moderate it.
The rules, what you're suggesting is censorship that goes beyond the law. And what I'm saying is, I guess have a disagreement, because I do not believe in censorship that goes beyond the law, and you do. We have a difference of opinion in that regard.
I understand that, but these are your own rules on your own platform. these go against the rules on your platform. That's why I'm asking you. If you said, listen, we allow everything, but that's not what your content rules say. And that's why I'm asking you, why are they still there? Your own content policy. That's why I'm asking you that, not because.
Which part of our content policy says that we should delete these things?
Your content policy talks about hate speech.
Yes, we don't promote hate speech.
And so you don't consider that hate speech.
I guess you're not understanding what I'm saying. There's if
secular reasoning. That guy is dumb, man. I mean, he is. I don't know. I don't think we should waste our time with him because he's just repeating it. He repeats
himself. Out of here. He just keeps repeating himself over and over and over again.
He's not saying anything new. He's really not. And again, I think Elon Musk is abundantly clear. The law is the law. I don't have to like what somebody has to say, but they still have the right to say it.
Exactly.
That's all. The thing
is, it shows you who they are.
Yeah, we can put a community check on them. We can repress their thought. I mean, that's one thing. Allow the person to say what they're saying, because the stuff that they're saying, let the people judge. I think the level of disrespect that's going on here toward people like yourself and I is that they are also telling us that we are too dumb to identify right from wrong and evil for itself. It's almost like they have a low view of human beings as well. It's almost like, don't you think people can actually see the evil of these words and actually say, you know what?
You're too stupid. We have to discern it for you.
Yeah, we have to help you out. Excuse me, who are you talking to?
Who do you think we are?
I know I have a higher expectation of humanity. Like, if you want to be fair, look at how God views humanity, right? When you read the Bible, and I think who was it that said it this way? I think it was John Wycliffe. He said it in such a way. He said the Bible, I'm going to find the text in a minute, but he said the Bible had to be inspired by God because, not simply because of the good things that's in it, the Bible exposed the evil as well. So if you go to the Bible, you notice like David, for example. Oh, great King David. King David did this, won wars and so on. But the same David was a murderer. He committed adultery. He had a man set up and had him killed after he did what he did with his wife. You know what God is telling you? God doesn't hide the truth. The good, the bad, and the in-between. He exposes it about his people openly so that you can take warning, judge for yourself, do whatever you want to do with it. He allows humanity to make decisions. He allows the evil and the good to be exposed so that you can make a choice. Because when you choose to do whatever you choose to do, whether it is evil or good, it's a reflection of your own character. It's not a reflection on God. And that's what's fair about the word of God when you read it, because it's like when you go to the Old Testament, there's stories you read, you're like, man, the Lord said a woman chopped him in his belly and his guts spilled out. Oh, yeah, that's strong language. Yeah. What was her name? Jezebel got thrown and eaten by dogs. Only her left hand was left. Yeah. Think about that. Ooh, that's crazy. That's nasty. Well, by the way, God is telling you this is the reality of life.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do with it. Like, you judge it however you want. And the point is exposing that which is good and that which is evil and that which is in between. And you have to choose for yourself. Where do you want to make a stand? And I think the same is true when it comes to these platforms as well.
I think it comes down to it's the how's the saying go? The racism of low expectations.
Yeah,
and that's really what it all boils down to. Or is it the racism of low expectations or soft expectations?
Yeah,
and it's something like that, and that's really what it is that they don't think that people are smart enough to understand these complex scenarios on different levels and think about them on, as multi-layers as they are.
Yeah.
And that we can see through all the crap that they're peddling, but yet we do it every day.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do you continue to do this when we know what you're doing?
Yeah.
We see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think it's not gonna work.
To me, I get it when you're dealing with children, right? When you're dealing with the minds of children, I get that. You have to protect their innocency. They're vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
When you're dealing with grown adults, it is what it is, man. Let the conversation be had. That's all. Let the conversation be had. Because the thing is, the truth has to come out from all levels, right? Even those who are speaking lies and deception, let them speak their lies and deception. Because
and let
sometimes
the people discern for themselves.
let's discern, let us judge. Let's make a YouTube video and expose them and call them out. If I cancel every evildoers in my society, how am I going to discover them when they're doing evil? How am I going to address them and prevent it from happening if you can even point it out? And the thing is, who is the one identifying hate speech here? Because what you might identify as hate speech might be the truth right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an uncomfortable truth at the moment. Later on in the future, oh, it turned out to be the truth. Oh, guess what? The conspiracy theorists were right again 6 months later.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at the Hunter Biden laptop.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up labeling that as anybody saying anything about that is hate speech.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, well, you know what? Turns out that was actually accurate.
Yep.
And had come out during the election, that would have swayed 17% of the vote in Trump's favor.
Mm. Mm.
And we wouldn't be in the pickle we are now.
Yeah. Yeah. In the name of hate speech.
Just saying.